1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and so on. The Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, nature's own secret code. A pattern so elegant, it makes mathematics feel divine. Most people heard about it thanks to Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, and history books credit its discovery to an Italian mathematician, Leonardo of Pisa, in 1202. But what almost no one knows is this: centuries before Fibonacci, Indian scholars had already discovered this sequence while counting rhythmic patterns in Sanskrit poetry. Surprising, right? Ancient Indians discovered the so called Fibonacci sequence nearly 2000 years earlier, and that too for practical purposes. I know this sounds unbelievable, hence, I have added the sources and references in the description below. Let's dive deep into this forgotten story. Let's go in time to 2nd century BCE, where Sanskrit culture was at its peak and India was buzzing with ideas. Now, the scholars of that era faced one problem: what is the use of knowledge if it cannot be shared? Now, they didn't have printing press or hard drive, they only had memory. So, they turned Sanskrit into technology. So, Sanskrit was not just a language, it was a tool, flexible, musical, and rhythmic, and it allowed even the most complex ideas to be woven into poetry. Medicine, astronomy, philosophy, mathematics, and spirituality all were coded in verses. In fact, India's greatest epics were in the format of poems. The Ramayana, the Bhagavad Gita, and the monumental Mahabharata were all written in poetic format so that they can be remembered and passed on accurately. Now, this created a challenge. You cannot write in any format or any framework you want. The poem has to follow a perfect rhythmic pattern. To solve the problem, the ancient scholars created a whole science called Sanskrit prosody or Chand Shastra. Think of it as mathematics in poetry. The idea was simple. If we can create poems which follow a certain rhythm, pattern, or system, the word Chand itself means to please. So the idea was to create rhythms which are very pleasing to the ear. And at the heart of this entire system is just two basic syllables. First, Lagu, the short beat containing 1 unit of time. Then Guru, the long beat containing 2 units of time. These two are the building blocks of all Sanskrit syllables. Just like Morse code uses dots and dashes, the Sanskrit prosody uses the short and the long syllable. Even musicians follow the same idea. In tabla, the short beat is dhin and the long beat is dha. And it is here in this humble rhythms following system that ancient India found a pattern which we now call as the Fibonacci sequence. Our story takes us to Gujarat around 12th century AD. Meet Acharya Hemchandra, a brilliant Jain polymath, master of grammar and philosophy. Now, Hemchandra was exploring all possible combinations of short and long syllables in poetry. To understand this, he tried to fit how many rhythms can be fit into a beat. He started listing all possibilities. Let's use S for the short beat and L for the long beat. So, in how many ways can we make one beat? That is one way. How about 2 beats? That will be 2 ways. 3 beats, 3 ways. 4 beats, 5 ways. And similarly, you'll have a lot of combinations for 5 beats, which is 8 ways. 1 beat, 2 beat, 3, 4, 5. Do you see it? 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Each number is the sum of the previous 2, which is Fn is equal to f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2, which is a generalization of this sequence. Hemchandra didn't just stumble into this. He derived a rule to find today's possibility and those of yesterday and the day before. Yes, this is the Fibonacci rule, and he discovered this half a century before Fibonacci. But the story simply doesn't end here. Now, Hemchandra was actually commenting on a work done by another Indian scholar, Virahanka, who wrote this around 700 AD, which is 500 years before Fibonacci published his Liber Abaci. But the true grandfather of this map is Rishi Pingala. 2500 years ago, in his Chand Shastra, Rishi Pingala describes mountain of numbers, which he called Matra Meru. Meru means mountain. Now, he described the number in a fascinating way, which we now call it as a Pascal's triangle, which was discovered somewhere in 17th century. Now, Rishi Pingala further claimed that this numbers converges to golden mean. So if you see the timeline, it starts with Pingala in 200 BCE, followed by Virahanka in 700 AD, Hemchandra in 1150 AD, followed by Fibonacci in 1202, the timeline for the Fibonacci sequence. There's a beautiful Sanskrit verse that explains the importance of each branch of knowledge. Vina Vyakre Nando Badira Koshvarjita Chand Shastram Vina Pangamurg Sthark Vivarjita, which means a person without grammar is like the blind, without a dictionary like the deaf, without prosody like handicap, and without logic, speechless. Ancient Indian placed huge importance on Chand Shastra, the science of poetic rhythm. So when Pingala wrote the textbook back in 2nd century BC, he didn't write any textbook. He wrote short cryptic sutras, which was designed for memorization for oral transmission and easy chanting. Later scholars like Hemchandra, Virahanka and Halayudha expanded the ideas and wrote the commentaries, but it was lost in maybe Sanskrit language or the short poetic format. So when modern historians search for mathematics, they didn't notice the combinatorics which was hidden inside the poetic rules. Today, many mathematicians, including the field medalist Manjul Bhargava, believe that this number should be rightly termed as Hemchandra sequence instead of Fibonacci sequence. If you want to continue to explore this forgotten mathematical brilliance, I have linked 2 powerful videos on your screen. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.